Hi there, it's Matt here at State of Flux, here to talk to you about the best films of 2021 so far. Can't believe the year is already halfway over. I'm going to give you my top 10 feature films of 2021 so far, as well as my pick for the worst film of the year. So let's start in ascending order with the number 10 pick. Disney Pixar's Luca, which is a sweet film. It's rather small scale for a Pixar movie. It's got not a ton of emotional heft to it, but a sweet film nonetheless. And it's a movie at the end of the day about acceptance. It is not lost on me that the film is coming out at Pride Month, and I think that has led to a touch of controversy here and there online, mainly from the Pixar side of things, because Pixar is saying that it's not necessarily a film that's decidedly gay, for want of a better word, but I think it does speak largely to anybody who is suffering from having to conceal their identity and who they are from the rest of the world for fear of persecution or maybe even harm, which this film kind of delves into pretty neatly. It is a reenactment or reimagination of The Little Mermaid, following a creature from the Black Lagoon, basically, a sea monster who comes to a city that where they hunt sea monsters. And he has the ability to blend in, and he finds another just like him. I do think that the film really lands well with its acceptance message, especially in that final act. So check out Luca on Disney Pixar, or on Disney Plus. Number 9 spot, we have A Quiet Place Part 2. These films are great. They're incredibly tightly edited. They really create an essence of fear and anxiety to well up within you. John Krasinski is an excellent director when it comes to that, and he builds that suspense and issues excellent forms of release. But at the end of the day, what I really like about these films is both films are about family. The first film followed predominantly the parental side of things. This one follows the kids' journey and how the kids kind of are sort of younger proteges of who we are as parents. And I liked how that was explored a little bit in the film. So check that one out. It does suffer a little bit from redundancy factor, which oftentimes sequels have, but Quiet Place Part 2 is excellently tightly edited fear fest. Number 8 pick, number 8, is a Chinese release called A Writer's Odyssey. This film is incredibly unique. It is half fantasy film and half fantasy hardcore action film and half kind of gritty drama. Early on in the film you find out that this writer's daughter has been taken from him. The movie picks up several years later, and it intercuts this real-world grim reality of a man who's lost his daughter and the literal text that he has created, where he can keep her spirit alive in this epic fantasy narrative. The film is at times kind of hauntingly beautiful and off the walls bonkers. Is just really wild. Particularly the climax. It feels like a anime brought to live action, and it's really quite impressive. This is a hard film to find, but if you do get a chance to see A Writer's Odyssey, do seek it out. I don't think it's streaming currently. It opened huge. We're talking in the $168 million realm in China, converted to American dollars. like, this movie did massive numbers there, so much so that it got a small release here stateside. I was lucky enough to see it. It hasn't gotten a streaming or a digital release date yet, but when it does, I might do a full review on the film specifically, because it is really a really interesting watch, if nothing else. You have not seen a movie like this, and you should. It's good. My number 7 pick is Godzilla vs. Kong. This is the movie that reignited the box office in a small scale. This was the first one to really kind of do it and hit a really nice solid base hit. And it actually opened, I think, on par with how Godzilla King of the Monsters opened in 2019, which was good sign. However, it didn't necessarily have the staying power that I think Warner Brothers had hoped, but this is the best of the Warner Brothers legendary kaiju movies that they have released, I would argue. Certainly better than the 2 Godzilla movies that Legendary had put out, and on par with Kong Skull Island. This really kind of developed the narrative that was presented in Kong really nicely, and you fleshed out his character. The human bits were mellowed a little bit, so they weren't quite so irritating to have to suffer through those moments. But you really came to this movie to watch giant monsters bang each other. That sounds weird. Giant monsters have fisticuffs, and it delivers. It's really cool. Alright, number 6 film is Amy Poehler's directorial effort, Moxie, which is a Netflix original film. This is about a young girl in her high school who starts a feminist zine and starts a micro-revolution within her school. It's got a really raw energy, it's really fun and vibrant, and has some really interesting characters and some solid performances all the way around. Really charming film. Check out Moxie. In number 5 place is another Netflix original film. This film is called Wish Dragon. Now, this movie isn't necessarily all that spectacular. I'm going to explain what the plot is, and you're going to have heard it, because the plot is Aladdin. This is a remake of Aladdin. The part that makes it a little interesting is that it is like entirely Asian themed. It's set in an Asian country with all Asian characters and voice actors bringing those characters to life. John Cho plays the titular Wish Dragon. And this film is really sweet, just very, very cute film, but it's also funny. This is the movie that brought me to laugh the hardest all year round. The laughs really work, and as far as reinventions of like classic literary stories go, this one's pretty solid. I highly recommend giving Wish Dragon a chance. My number 4 pick is In the Heights. I did a full review on here, as I did with Kong, Godzilla vs. Kong and Quiet Place 2. I do have a full review of In the Heights on my channel as well, but this is a delightful little musical. It took me a little while to warm up to, because I was kind of expecting one thing, got another, but I really like this film, especially the final act of this film is incredibly sweet and hits you in the sentimentals, which is a fun word I have now said. Alright, my number 3 pick is Mortal Kombat. Is this movie as good as In the Heights or any of the ones that I mentioned before? Probably not, but it is the best of its genre. The crown jewel of video game film adaptations has always been Mortal Kombat. This new one is on par, if not better than the original Mortal Kombat film. What it does is it leans into the campy nature that Mortal Kombat has here and there, while also fleshing out really interesting and dramatic, hefty storytelling at times, especially with the Sub-Zero and Scorpion characters. There's also some nice touches with Sonya Blade and Kano, brings a lot of humor to the film. The fatalities are there, which is what you're going to this for. This film just delivers if you're a Mortal Kombat fan, which I am, and this is a movie that I keep replaying in my head, and I'm excited for owning my physical copy of it, which I believe comes out in about 2 weeks' time. But yeah, Mortal Kombat's great. Give it a chance. Even if you have no interest in Mortal Kombat whatsoever, give this film a chance. It's pretty fun. It's a very slick film. If that opening 10 minutes doesn't capture you, I don't know what's wrong with you. It's great. My number 2 pick is Disney's Cruella. They've been hit and miss with their live-action adaptations, but Cruella, I think, is easily one of the strongest. It packs 2 powerhouse performances from its leading Emmas, and it has great energy. It's got a spectacular soundtrack that just drives through the film. I heard that they greenlit a sequel. I'm there. I want to see more of what Emma Stone brings to this character. She was a delight. My number 1 pick is Raya and the Last Dragon, and I know I'm pronouncing that wrong, but it's just like an earworm in my head. I can't get it right. But Raya and the Last Dragon is the best film of 2021 so far. I also have reviews of these movies on my site, so you can hear the full one if you're interested in that. But like I said before, and I stand by it, the ending of this film is the strongest ending for any of the Disney animated feature films. It has such a powerful emotional impact, and I really just love the character Raya, or Raya, as my daughter constantly corrects me, as well as wife. But yeah, lovely film. Check it out. It's got a great sense of humor, and little essence of Miyazaki sort of sprinkled out throughout the film, which I really appreciated. One of the films that didn't make my list, however, probably would show up somewhere in the middle of the pack, is Demon Slayer Mugen Train, and I'm remiss if I don't mention this film. This film is a beautiful anime in terms of how it's animated. The animation is just stunning, it's gorgeous, the storytelling is there, great action scenes, great character development, especially as a sequel to the Netflix show, which I urge you to watch. It's on Netflix, Demon Slayer. Check it out, it's fantastic. However, this film was, even though it was released here stateside in 2021, actually on the same day as Mortal Kombat, it actually came out in 2020 in Japan, and if you look at the worldwide domestic or worldwide international box office numbers for all of 2020, Demon Slayer Mugen Train is the number 1 highest grossing movie of 2020, which is why it doesn't make my list. However, I did see it this year, so I guess I could include it. But check out Demon Slayer Mugen Train. It is a really solid movie, and I believe it is now streaming through Funimation. Well, there you have it. My worst film is, as you can watch my review of, Army of the Dead. Zack Snyder just shit the bed when he made that movie. Not a spectacular movie in any stretch of the imagination. It's relatively insulting, has nothing to say. It's a weird movie. It has absolutely nothing to accomplish. Like, you could make some interesting commentary about how maybe people value money over human lives and something like that. Nothing. It's a movie with nothing to say, which is so weird coming from the zombie genre where, like, George Romero like reinvented and created the modern incarnation of a zombie film, each time having some form of commentary to say. This film has none of that, and the little nuggets of commentary that are sprinkled throughout Army of the Dead, I think, are really kind of inappropriate. Certainly talking about medical checking with potential pandemics, which we're literally going through. I understand that didn't happen when he was making the film, but once you're releasing the film and you're questioning things such as like temp gunning, that's pretty irresponsible filmmaking. The film is relatively sexist, which I explored a little bit in my my little commentary for the film, but don't waste your time with the Army of the Dead. Worst film of the year, just absolute, just straight up garbage. You would do better to watch literally anything else. You could even watch the Snyder Cut, which I also did not like, but that is a better film than Army of the Dead. Hated this film. Cannot stress that enough. Some films to look forward to. We have probably in 2 weeks' time, or sometime next week, I should have a review up for Black Widow, which I'm incredibly excited for. All the Marvel movies this year I'm really, really pumped for. Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings in September, The Eternals in November, from the filmmaker who did Nomadland. I really want to see what she brings to the table. We've got a Oscar-winning director helming one of these Marvel films, so that's kind of neat. And then Spider-Man 3 on Christmas Day. My number one movie that I'm most excited for is Last Night in Soho, Edgar Wright's film. That man has never hit anything other than a home run, so I'm pumped, and the trailer looks great, has excellent talent in front of the screen. Really pumped for that. I'm really cautiously optimistic for Old. Shyamalan always gives you a unique experience. So that's what I gotta say. He tries 100% of the time. It doesn't always stick the landing. However, this one looks really promising. So I'm pretty excited for Old. And also Denis Villeneuve's Dune. Also cautiously optimistic for. Dune is an unfilmable book. But if anybody can do it, it's him. He's proven himself capable many times here. So, what movies are you most excited for the remainder of 2021? Drop those in the comments below, and thank you for listening to this incredibly long-winded take on this fool who's seen like 27 theatrical films this year. Let me know what your favorite one was as well. Thanks for watching. Bye.